Louisiana, where the alligators grow so mean.
For 48 years, the attic of the Graceland mansion was sealed with an antique brass padlock, strictly barring every footstep from entering, including heads of state. Early this year, when the heavy wooden door was cracked open for the first time, the entire appraisal team was left speechless. Inside that freezing space lay not just dusty memorabilia or shimmering costumes, but eerily intact traces of life. Who was truly present inside Elvis Presley's forbidden room throughout the past half-century? The truth about to be revealed right here will permanently alter everything the world ever knew about a legend. In the spring of 1957, 22-year-old singing star Elvis Presley officially completed the purchase of the 13.8-acre estate in the suburbs of Memphis at a price of $122,500 USD, a figure equivalent to nearly $1 million USD in today's value. The male singer decided to retain the name Graceland, originally named after Mrs. Grace Towoff, the initial owner of the land. This real estate quickly became a symbol of the spectacular rise of the rock and roll empire across the globe. The interior of the mansion faithfully reflected Elvis's deeply contrasting personality traits. The most eccentric highlight was the tropical jungle room, where the entire floor and ceiling were covered in green shag carpeting, alongside wild Polynesian-style furniture. In the basement, he installed an entertainment room with 3 television screens operating simultaneously to follow the news at the same time. The mansion was also home to a pet chimpanzee named Scatter, a creature that frequently appeared and caused chaos during lavish parties. In contrast to that noisy commotion in 1964, Elvis broke ground on the meditation garden. The project featured an artificial pool and tranquil rows of white columns designed as an isolated oasis during the period when the British music invasion was sweeping America. The garden became the only place where the star cast off the cloak of fame to seek inner stillness. Those close to him confirmed that this was a familiar sanctuary, helping him relieve the heavy psychological pressure from the enormous expectations of millions of fans. The peace of Graceland came to a permanent end after the tragedy of Elvis's death. On August 18, 1977, a solemn motorcade of 17 white Cadillacs escorted the singer to rest beside his mother at Forest Hill Cemetery, amidst the surrounding crowd of hundreds of thousands of fans. Still less than 48 hours after the funeral, an organized criminal ring recklessly broke into the mausoleum at night to dig up and steal the coffin, plotting to extort millions of dollars from the Presley family to ransom the remains of the deceased. Although police forces intervened in time and arrested the group of suspects, the incident dealt a severe psychological blow to Mr. Vernon Presley. The grieving father painfully realized that even death could not bring safety to his son. Faced with the constant threat, Mr. Vernon urgently coordinated with local authorities to execute a secret relocation in the dead of night. The remains of Elvis and Mrs. Gladys were brought back for permanent burial right inside the meditation garden within the mansion. This decision transformed Graceland from a private residence into a fortified security fortress. A state-of-the-art alarm system was activated across the entire 14 acres of land, accompanied by armed bodyguards patrolling continuously day and night to guard the tomb. At the same time, Mr. Vernon ordered the permanent sealing of the entire second floor and the attic area. All personal living spaces alongside the bathroom where Elvis passed away were isolated entirely from any outside access. When Graceland officially opened its doors to the public in 1982, the lockdown remained strictly maintained with a brief statement, "The upstairs area is strictly private, out of respect for the family." The freeze, lasting throughout many decades, turned the attic door into the greatest mystery curtain in American popular culture history, where all attempts to gain access from the public or heads of state were categorically rejected. But behind those heavy wooden doors locked tight for decades what truly took place in the final moments of a legend. To understand why this space became a forbidden zone, we must turn back the clock to a sweltering summer afternoon in 1977. The fatal hour. Entering the summer of 1977, Elvis Presley's physical condition had fallen into a state of severe deterioration. At 42 years old, the American music icon endured prolonged chronic pain alongside utter physical and mental exhaustion. The living space on the second floor of the Graceland mansion remained constantly engulfed in dense darkness, with a system of black velvet curtains blocking the light. Elvis completely upended his biological rhythm, staying awake for many consecutive nights, and only drifting into an exhausted sleep once daytime had passed. His weight at this time had reached the 260-pound mark, equivalent to nearly 120 kilograms, accompanied by edema and severe breathing difficulties. In the face of his drastically declining health, an intense touring schedule continued to be slated without any periods of rest. In the early morning hours of August 16, 1977, after a racquetball match with friends on the estate grounds, Elvis sat at the piano, singing his final melodies. Near dawn, he returned to the master bedroom and consumed packets of prescription medications in search of deep sleep. Around 2:00 p.m. that same afternoon, his 20-year-old girlfriend Ginger Alden awoke. Half an hour later, receiving no response from the master bathroom, she pushed the door open and was horrified to discover Elvis had collapsed motionless on the thick carpeting. The male singer's body lay face down on the floor, his sleepwear disheveled, and his face turned purple from suffocation. All of Ginger's attempts to shake and call him fell into a cold silence, tearing through the tranquility of the Graceland mansion. Hearing her piercing scream, tour manager Joe Esposito rushed upstairs immediately to administer chest compressions, but Elvis's body was already icy cold. His 9-year-old daughter, Lisa Marie, ran over crying out in despair, a memory she later recorded, "I saw my father lying face down on the floor, and I knew the worst had happened." Although the emergency medical team at Baptist Memorial Hospital made every effort to inject cardiac stimulants and administered defibrillation shocks, all medical interventions proved futile. At precisely 3:30 p.m. on August 16, 1977, music legend Elvis Presley was officially pronounced dead. The shocking news immediately paralyzed global media. A few hours later, medical examiner Dr. Jerry Francisco hastily held a press conference to announce Elvis Presley died of cardiac arrhythmia stemming from natural pathological causes with absolutely no indication of involvement with stimulants. Still, that rather hasty conclusion quickly crumbled once the doors of the toxicology laboratory were opened, exposing a medical tragedy and the cruelty of the profiteers surrounding him. The buried medical tragedy. Only a few weeks following the announcement that Elvis passed away from natural heart disease, the truth began to unfold when bioscience laboratories in the state of California completed in-depth toxicological analyses on the clinical samples. An independent forensic report recorded the concurrent presence of 14 prescription pharmaceuticals at extremely high concentrations in the bloodstream, including codeine, morphine, Valium, dilaudid placidil, and quaaludes. Pathological autopsy results indicated that the male singer's heart had enlarged to twice its normal size, alongside an enlarged liver and damage to multiple internal organs resulting from pharmaceutical side effects. All investigations by health authorities quickly turned toward his personal physician, George Nicopolis, commonly known affectionately as Dr. Nick, who was directly responsible for Elvis's health care for an entire decade. Records archived at pharmacies in Memphis exposed shocking statistics to the entire public when, in the first 8 months of 1977, alone Dr. Nick authorized over 10,000 pills of various kinds. Prior to that, the total number of medications prescribed to the star had reached nearly 19,000 pills, equivalent to a sedative or painkiller prescription being approved every 36 hours on average. Standing before a wave of harsh criticism, the physician defended his actions with the statement, "If I hadn't prescribed them, he would have sought to buy them from illegal black market sources anyway." In 1980, Dr. Nick was officially indicted in court on 14 counts related to indiscriminately prescribing large quantities of addictive pharmaceuticals to Elvis Presley, alongside many other patients. Although he escaped criminal conviction thanks to a harm reduction argument by 1995, the Tennessee Board of Medical Examiners ruled to permanently revoke this physician's medical license. Modern medical research in the 2020 book by author Sally A. Hodel opened up an entirely new perspective, altering the long-standing public perception of Elvis. In-depth medical records proved that the star carried the alpha-1 antitrypsin genetic deficiency, an extremely severe syndrome causing hereditary deterioration of lung function and liver cirrhosis. In addition, an impaired immune system combined with chronic megacolon forced Elvis to endure intense prolonged pain over many years without a definitive treatment regimen. Severe head traumas in the past also triggered central neuropathic pain syndrome, leaving the male star's body in a state requiring constant medical intervention to remain functional. His health tragedy was pushed even further to a climax by the ruthless control of his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, the figure holding total life-or-death authority over the singer's performance career. In order to pay off his own massive gambling debts, the manager continually pressured Elvis into signing contracts to perform hundreds of consecutive nights in Las Vegas with no regard for medical recommendations. Trapped between a vicious genetic illness, a negligent physician, and the grueling machine of fame, Elvis Presley's exhausted physical body completely collapsed before he could reach the age of 43. The untimely death of an icon at the age of 42 was too great a shock for the public to accept. And it was precisely that bewilderment that sparked a multitude of bizarre theories across many decades before a life-and-death legal battle erupted in the modern era. The Elvis conspiracy theories. On the very night of August 16, 1977, at Memphis International Airport, a witness claimed to have seen a man looking identical to Elvis purchasing a one-way airline ticket to Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires. This person used the identity of John Burroughs, a familiar alias the male singer frequently used to register for hotel rooms and secret flights throughout his years at the pinnacle of his artistic career. A wave of skepticism swiftly spread across America as hundreds of reported Elvis sightings continuously surfaced, from a server at a Burger King in Michigan to a gas station attendant in Oklahoma. This phenomenon exploded to such an extent that in 1988, the weekly newspaper Weekly World News established a recurring column titled Elvis Watch to track and compile all the rumors from everywhere. Entering the digital age, the online community continued to circulate the theory that a pastor named Bob Joyce was the male singer in hiding, owing to his rustic singing voice and preaching style bearing an uncanny resemblance. Conspiracy theorists continually pointed to the detail of the unusually heavy coffin, weighing up to 900 pounds, equivalent to over 400 kilograms, sparking rumors that a cooling apparatus containing a fake wax body had been installed inside. The detail of the middle name on the tombstone, engraved as Aaron, with 2 A's instead of Aaron, as on the original birth certificate, was also dissected, although in reality, this was a spiritual wish agreed upon by Elvis himself and his family to change back. Another popular theory even suggested that he secretly entered the Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI Witness Protection Program to escape threats from organized crime syndicates. These legends persisted for many decades, until a family tragedy struck in January 2023 when his only daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, suddenly passed away at the age of 54 due to bowel complications. This unexpected passing ignited a tense legal battle between grandmother Priscilla Presley and granddaughter Riley Keough over control of the massive estate valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. Following months of court mediation, actress Riley Keough was officially recognized as the sole lawful trustee, holding full rights to manage and own the Graceland estate complex. Even so, the turmoil did not end there when, in May 2024, a sensational financial fraud scheme directly targeted ownership of this historic property to seize the assets. A shady business entity named Nosani Investments and Private Lending unexpectedly produced documents demanding the foreclosure auction of Graceland, claiming the late artist Lisa Marie had once mortgaged the mansion for a $3.8 million loan. Riley Keough's legal team immediately filed an emergency lawsuit with the Shelby County Chancery Court, stating before the judge, "This is a calculated scheme with all signatures sophisticatedly forged to steal the inherited property." Just 24 hours prior to when the auction was scheduled to take place, Judge Jode Jenkins issued an emergency injunction. The estate is considered unique under Tennessee law, and depriving it would cause irreparable harm. After defeating the plot to seize the family legacy, the young heir Riley Keough made a historic decision, allowing archival experts to cross the red line and swing open the attic doors that had been forgotten by time for 48 years, unlocking the attic. On a frigid morning in January 2025, the wooden attic door at the Graceland mansion had a key turned in its lock for the very first time following exactly 48 years of strict sealing since the summer of 1977. The team of archival experts, led by Ms. Angie Marchese, Director of Archives at Graceland, clad in white gloves, used the antique brass key preserved across multiple generations of the Presley family. As the door opened, the space inside emerged completely silent and cool, thanks to the climate control system silently operating for nearly half a century through external maintenance. In stark contrast to the glittering opulence of the lower floors, the attic was a rustic space with raw wooden partitions carefully arranged into individual archival zones by Elvis Presley's own hands. Along the walls sat dozens of archival storage boxes labeled in the male singer's own handwriting, Tupelo, 1945, First Recordings, Army Days, Hollywood, Vegas, and a special box marked After 1977. In the Tupelo Childhood Archival section, the expert team found a worn teddy bear named Bear, Elvis's favorite childhood toy, with one missing eye and numerous patched seams. The patches on the bear were sewn by his late mother Gladys herself using scrap fabric from her old floral dress during a period of poverty when his father Vernon Presley had to serve a prison sentence for check forgery in 1938. In the Army Days area, the archival team discovered a worn Bible with its spine held together by black electrical tape, a sacred gift presented by Mrs. Gladys to her son when he was drafted into the military in 1958. Every page was filled with reflective notes on faith and life, among which the passage of Psalm 23 had been carefully marked by Elvis just days before he passed away in August 1977. Moving to the Hollywood section, the custom leather jacket designed for the classic motion picture Jailhouse Rock remained impeccably preserved after decades of dust inside the sealed attic space. Upon checking the jacket pocket, the experts were stunned to find a small scrap of paper with Elvis's scribbled handwriting, "Wear this jacket when you need to disappear completely." Beside the Vegas stage memorabilia lay a confidential medical file from 1974 warning of severe cardiovascular damage and demanding lifestyle changes though he continued performing for 3 more years. Most notable among the artifacts was a stack of reel-to-reel tapes labeled Practice Sessions 1976, capturing raw acoustic sound sessions by the late artist that had never been officially released. Among the tapes was an a cappella recording of the song Unchained Melody, with no musical accompaniment, showcasing a trembling, fractured voice filled with a tragic premonition of the gifted artist's approaching death. A corner of the room also held stacks of fan letters from 1976 that remained completely sealed, including a letter earnestly pleading with him to stop all concert tours to focus on medical treatment. Study books on Eastern philosophy and the spiritual realm filled with dense marginal notes revealed a lonely personality, constantly seeking profound answers regarding the meaning of existence. The attic contained no gold or silver, nor any plot to flee from fame. Rather, it was a sanctuary preserving the wounded but pure heart of a man who constantly yearned to be truly understood. Elvis Presley's immortal legacy, after nearly half a century, lies not merely in his title as the King of Rock and Roll on stage, but remains intact within the most authentic mementos right up to his final breath. To you, do the artifacts newly discovered in the attic alter the way you perceive the man behind the legendary music title? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. If you find this material valuable, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification bells so as not to miss the upcoming cultural and historical investigative dossiers. See you again in upcoming exclusive reports.